It's early evening, June 2nd, 1983. Supper time aboard Air Canada Flight 797. This twin-engine DC-9 is en route from Dallas, Texas, to Montreal, with a scheduled stop in Toronto. On board are 46 people, 41 passengers, and 5 crew members. In the cockpit, Captain Donald Cameron, a 17-year Air Canada veteran, is settling in for a routine leg of the journey. He's logged nearly 5,000 hours on this aircraft. First Officer Claude Ouimet, his co-pilot, is finishing dinner as they cruise above a blanket of thick clouds at 10,000 meters, about 33,000 feet. Outside the windows, the sky is brilliant and calm. Below, hidden by the clouds, light rain drizzles across parts of the Midwest. The aircraft is half full. Passengers are relaxed, quietly enjoying their meals or reading. In seat 24A, Diane Fadley, 24 years old, sips tea. She's a passionate volunteer for the Juvenile Diabetes Foundation, en route to Toronto for their annual conference. Raymond Chalifou, a 23-year-old engineer, is flying home from his first-ever business trip, nervous but proud.
It was a little scary for both me and my wife. First time we'd been apart for more than a few days.
A few rows ahead, Stan Rogers, one of Canada's rising folk music stars, relaxes quietly. At just 33, his music is gaining international recognition.
Stan wrote about ordinary people, working folks, who became heroes in their own way. Three circuit breakers in the cockpit panel snap out with an unmistakable click.
Captain Cameron notes the issue, but isn't overly concerned. Could be a jammed motor. It overheats, the breaker pops. Let it cool for a few minutes, reset it. Usually works. He logs it as a minor issue. A blocked toilet isn't unusual. No cause for alarm. As flight attendants Laura Kiyama and Judy Davidson continue meal service, a strange smell begins to drift through the rear of the aircraft. Connie Kirsch, seated near the back, wrinkles her nose.
It was weird, burning wires, maybe? Not quite smoke, but something was off.
Soon, a faint wisp of smoke begins to seep from the lavatory door. The odor sharpens, acrid, unnatural. Davidson rushes to notify Sergio Benetti, the chief flight attendant. He grabs an extinguisher and heads straight for the lavatory. He opens the door, but sees no flames. Still, he sprays the cabin thoroughly, covering every visible surface.
As soon as I saw that fire extinguisher come out, I knew this wasn't just a clogged toilet anymore. Laura Kiyama steps into the cockpit. Captain, there's smoke in the rear washroom. They're trying to put out a fire.
Captain Cameron immediately sends First Officer Ouimet to check. Fire on an aircraft is every pilot's nightmare. But in 1983, smoking was still allowed on board. Smoke wasn't always
a red flag. Honestly, we thought maybe someone tossed a cigarette into the trash. That happens sometimes. I wasn't alarmed yet.
Ouimet finds Benetti and Davidson trying to manage the growing smoke. No visible flames, but the air is thick and choking. I couldn't get in very far. The smoke was too heavy. We need to descend. But Benetti believes the worst may be over. I think the smoke's easing up. Maybe it's under control. Mixed messages reach Captain Cameron. Should he descend immediately? Or press on to Toronto? He sends Ouimet back once more, this time with goggles and a mask. Check it again, but don't get yourself knocked out in the process. If it's just the toilet motor, they can continue. But if the fire is real, every moment counts. Within moments, the smoke intensifies. It pours into the cabin, thick, black, and suffocating. Passengers begin coughing. Visibility drops. Panic spreads. The fire is not under control. Captain Cameron makes the call, emergency descent. He radios air traffic control. They're 25 minutes from Cincinnati/Northern Kentucky Airport. It's the nearest available runway. The aircraft begins a rapid descent, nearly 3,000 feet per minute. Inside the cabin, the atmosphere turns desperate. Passengers cover their mouths. Some cry, others pray. The smoke is so dense, it begins to seep into the cockpit. Ouimet, now back up front, is nearly incapacitated. Cameron hands him an oxygen mask. Flight attendants move quickly. trying to guide passengers toward clearer air. We told them, get low, stay near the floor, cover your mouths. That's where the air was still breathable. The plane touches down hard on the runway at Cincinnati. As it comes to a stop, the emergency lights fail. The smoke is so thick that passengers can barely see the exits. But flames are now visible, an inferno in the rear fuselage. Cabin crew and passengers struggle in near-total darkness to find the exits. The forward doors are opened. Emergency slides deploy. People scramble. Some trip. Others crawl. Flames surge forward. One flight attendant escapes through the overwing exit, yelling for others to follow. But time has run out. Just 90 seconds after landing, a flashover, a catastrophic eruption of flame, engulfs the cabin. Out of 46 people on board, 23 escape. But 23 perish, including Stan Rogers, the beloved folk singer. The fire's origin? An electrical fault in the rear lavatory, likely the flushing motor. The exact ignition source was never conclusively identified, but the investigation revealed something crucial. There was no smoke detector in the lavatory, no automatic fire extinguisher, and no clear evacuation lighting system in the cabin. The tragedy of Flight 797 became a turning point in aviation safety. It led to sweeping reforms. Mandatory smoke detectors in aircraft lavatories, fire-resistant materials in cabin interiors, and clearly illuminated floor lighting on all commercial aircraft. A disaster born of smoke left behind a legacy of safety that's still saving lives today.